And they're away. They're off and running for the Bet365 Premier Chase, 2 miles, 7.5 furlongs ahead of the four runners, and they're led to fence at number 1 of 17 by Wishing and Hoping, who's around about 2 lengths ahead of Milos in the dark blue and orange, and then Empire Steel hopping over fence number 1 in third, and the shunter is the early back marker. So just over 2 circuits of the track left in front of them, and Alex Edwards, his only ride here today, on board Wishing and Hoping, a horse he knows ever so well, and takes him up past the packed enclosures here at Kelso for the first time, and fully 2 lengths to the good over the Coral Gold Cup winner Milos, racing wider out of Empire Steel. As they cross the second fence, the shunter took it a further 3 lengths away in last place. Is Wishing and Hoping going into the next turn? Just had a bit of a think about things there. Possibly just cocked his jaw ever so slightly. Didn't quite see what happened, but he looked awkward for a moment or so there, Alex Edwards, and Wishing and Hoping, as he steers him out towards the outer loop. The chase track here at Kelso, much wider, of course, than the hurdles track opening over in the back straight, and Wishing and Hoping showing out in the lead here with his ears pricked towards fence number 3, which he jumps well. Second place, Milos, and then Empire Steel and the shunter, the winners of over £600,000 in win and place prize money between them, these four. All high achievers, and they came over the second fence going down the far side, led by Wishing and Hoping, who's been such a grand horse over the years. He was a good hurdler. He was a really good pointer as well. He won a national classic, the Lady Dudley Cup at Chattersley Corbett many years ago. Back over fences under rules. He, of course, had one of his biggest successes in the Veterans Final at Sandown just 56 days ago. He tows the other 3 along. Milos racing in second position. Milos taking the same route as Cloth Cap, who, of course, also won the big race down at Newbury prior to Christmas before coming here and then on to the Grand National. Milos looking to do the same and perhaps a bit better than what Cloth Cap did at Aintree. Within third, Empire Steel along the inside, a horse who once beat Protectorat around here. He hops over that fence in third place for Sandy Thomson and Ryan Mania, who of course won our big race earlier on. And talking of the big race, that's the race that the shunter won here on this day 2 years ago, before of course going on to win at the Cheltenham Festival and scooping the big £100,000 bonus. He's the back marker of the 4 and just needs to complete today to qualify for a run in the Grand National. So on they go towards an open ditch, and it is Wishing and Hoping in a nice rhythm and jumping well from Empire Steel along the inside of Milos, and the back marker of the 4 remains the shunter. So no great alterations with regards to the order. And on now towards the halfway stage, and fence number 9 of 17. Wishing and Hoping, jumping with a real spring in his step, this veteran 13-year-old who loves the game. Wishing and Hoping coming up past us with a circuit left in front of them. From in second place, Milos on the outside of Empire Steel, and the shunter remains a further 3 lengths away in last position. So many horses in recent years have used this as a stepping stone for Aintree, the likes of Aurora's Encore, who went on to win a Grand National after finishing just 5th in this race. Bala Briggs and Many Clouds also successful at Aintree, having run in this contest. Now around this turn, this is where Wishing and Hoping looked a little bit awkward on the previous circuit, but fine this time around, and he takes them on to the outer loop just in front of Milos in at second place for double-seeking Dan Skelton. He's unbeaten for Dan so far, Milos, 2 out of 2 since joining this yard, with back in third the locally trained Empire Steel, and the back marker of the 4 remains the shunter. They've got a mile to go in the Bet365 Premier Chase, 3 fences in the back straight. Not Milos' finest hour that time, maybe just forced into a small mistake by the bold jumping front runner. Wishing and Hoping comes to another. Milos a bit better there. Empire Steel is in third, and now the shunter has got his work cut out. He's dropped a further 3 or 4 lengths behind Empire Steel as they head towards the final fence over in the back straight, which is 5 out. Wishing and Hoping measures it well, and Empire Steel fluffs his lines that time. Went right through the top of it. Milos is the closest pursuer to Wishing and Hoping, who's now just nudged out of the back straight, but still maintains a 1 to 1.5 length lead. Milos is poised in second and moving well, and back in third Empire Steel, and the shunter the back marker of the 4 as they come down to 4 from home. Wishing and Hoping almost joined by Milos. Empire Steel Steel just now beginning to make mistakes. The race is beginning to unfold. He's back in third, and the shunter beginning to catch him as Milos jumps to the outside of Wishing and Hoping there, and now there's very little between them as they swing back towards the straight. Milos is properly on Wishing and Hoping now as they swing back towards the straight. They're a long way ahead of the other two. Empire Steel just about clinging on to third from the shunter. They're in a private battle for the minors at the moment as Milos breezes on into the lead on the approach to the last of the open ditches, two from home. Milos is in front now from in second position, Wishing and Hoping. The shunter wider out of Empire Steel as they make the run towards the final fence, and with every stride Milos is coming further and further away. Wishing and Hoping is in second place but getting tired, and now Empire Steel and the shunter both move on past him, but they've got a big gap to try and get to Milos, who's safely across the final fence. In second position is Empire Steel, the shunter is in third, then Wishing and Hoping. Milos is showing out in the lead here to Empire Steel, who is beginning to run on, and the crowd roaring him home, and all of a sudden Milos is having company from Empire Steel, and he's got there, would you believe it? Empire Steel, it's another big win on the day for Sandy Thomson and Ryan Mania. Empire Steel wins again at Kelso, beats Milos, with back in behind them the shunter, and then Wishing and Hoping.
Sandy Thomson then at his local track Kelso. What a day he's had on Mo Battle Hurdle Day. He wins the big race, and you've just won the chase as well, the listed chase, Sandy. First of all, back to the Mo Battle Hurdle and Benson. What a victory.
Yeah, he's, we've obviously found a bit about him every time he's run. And Ryan said, listen, I'm just going to try and be passing horses. They'll go a good gallop, and I'll just at the end, he likes passing horses. When he was second at Aintree, I think he got to the front too early and he just slightly stopped. So, plan obviously jumped out in front at Musselburgh, made all, and different plan today.
And of course, you're winning a £100,000 race with a £100,000 bonus to win any race at the Cheltenham Festival. He's in the Coral Cup. He's also in the conditional handicap hurdle. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, we're just going to have to go home and see. Jimmy and Scott obviously are huge enthusiasts, and we'll sit down and we'll make a plan.
Because he is a horse that needs strong handling.
He is, and that's two great rides Ryan's given him, and a conditional riders race. They can be messy affairs, and
I think I know what way you're leaning.
Well, listen, we'll go and have a chat about it. It's not fair to say too much at the moment because Jimmy and Scott obviously will have their views.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Empire Steel, what a standing dish he's becoming here at Kelso. He hasn't jumped the fifth last very well. He's just taken off halfway up the run in.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan again, what a brilliant ride. He's missed the fifth last, so he's just filled him up. And just so delighted. I mean, Alan, his owner, he bought him to go point-to-pointing and he couldn't manage him, so he came to us. And I don't know how Alan managed to ride him the first season. If you remember the first time he came here, he went onto the course and he went no further. But but Alan's been riding him at home the last couple of weeks, so he must be settling down. And I'm absolutely just delighted because such a family connection with Peter, his father, and obviously Stuart White was in the family, one of the Scottish first
legendary trainer.
Yeah. So absolutely delighted for Alan. And I think before we finish, what a job Kelso have done putting on this fixture. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they put most courses in this country to shame. They have put their money in their pocket. They're great because they're a non-profit making organisation, which obviously helps. But they show what can be done. Yeah. And for the rest of the courses, they need to look at what they're going. This great sport of ours. We're obviously having huge controversies about the whip, which is doing our sport absolutely no good. It has been an absolute shambles from start to finish. The BHA should hang their head in shame. Cheltenham is going to be an absolute nightmare for these Irish jockeys. Nobody's complaining about the overuse of the stick. I mean, that goes part and parcel, but all these little pernickety things that they're picking up, they're messing with, when we're in mental health, they're messing with jockeys' heads. It's a hard enough job already because they're losing weight and things. And the BHA really have done racing such a huge disservice, and I hope they will sit down with everybody now before we get to Cheltenham and say, listen, we've got this wrong. We need to very quickly sort this out so that we do not have all the tabloids splashing across their pages that all the talk at Cheltenham is about whip bans, because, you know, these bands are for nothing.
Yeah. Sandy, well done today.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.